Hey everyone, welcome back to the LFC Toronto show, episode 7, I believe. And this is the Liverpool home, the Toronto home of officially, once again, the most successful club in England.
Woohoo!
Doesn't that smell good? I've got Jake, Dan, my name's Azaz. Guys, how does that feel? How was Sunday?
What a fantastic game. You know, we've always spoken
Amazing.
about, I guess in the last 7 times,
Still buzzing.
getting the bang for the buck from the game, right? I didn't think it was going to be that kind of bang for the buck to go to the pens the way it was, and Kelleher getting to that point. But from a game perspective, like everything we could ask for, right? A goal that was ruled offside, right? Our star players, injured players, all going back and forth. They hit the post, right? What was Mount hit the post?
Mount hit the post.
Fantastic back and forth. You know, we pressed them a little bit. They came out, did some counterattacking. Almost everything we were speaking about was kind of how it was playing out, which is very interesting, except for the penalties, which was, you know, heroic that Kelleher had 3 times that he's gone through that situation and come on top. So maybe do we sub him in for Ali for penalties, or like I mean, I don't know if I would have done that. I think Mendy would have been a great choice, but you know, poor Kepa, he's never coming back from this. He's like, I don't know if it's worse than Karius now, or like, I don't know.
Hey, he's still a Liverpool player, man.
Agreed.
Respect
But Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it had everything, right? I mean, the match had everything but goals, really. I mean, legit goals, and you know, you had like Chelsea fans, you know, just screaming and yelling about Lukaku's offside, but you know, Sadio's miss, and you're thinking, oh man, this is never going to happen. And legit, Jake, I was telling you in Burlington, respect to Sly Fox, by the way, for hosting us out there, and a great watch party out there. But we were just like, how is this not a goal for Joel, right? I mean, Joel headed it in. We thought, you know, offside, and there's a whole thing about impeding the progress and all that, but somehow they disallowed it, right? And you know, you can chalk it up to VAR or whatever the hell it is, but yeah, amazing match. It had everything in it. Both teams gave it, and you know, I think Klopp in today's presser, he had come out and just was very complimentary about Chelsea, and I have to say, like they really gave it everything, and they kept us on our toes, but. Like I said last week, right? Form is temporary, class is permanent, and our squad, you know, has that. And we came out on top. And you know what? For the unsung heroes in our squad, right? Like the Taki Minaminos, the Divock Origis, the you know, like that group of players. You know, you really got to hand it to them because they carried us, and you know, no pun intended, they carry us. Carry us. But anyway, but
they carry us to victory.
Sorry, is that
they carry us to victory. Speaking of victory, so that's 1 down. So on to the next 2, 3, 4. You know, in week 1, in week 1, Dan said the word quadruple, and honestly, I was here for it, and I know Jake was as well. Like, it's a pipe dream, it's crazy, but at the end of the day, you know what? We have to dream, right? Like, that's part of being a Liverpool fan. If you were gonna give it a percentage chance at this point, what would you estimate? What are our chances of winning a quadruple?
Well, I mean, this whole handball fiasco, which we will talk about, could have changed some of that dynamic in our favor from the Prem perspective. And I think I don't know if because we had the certain squads in the last couple of years, did we like really drive up to the FA Cup and Carabao Cup? I think, did we really push for those things? Or was our premise like, we're going to go for Champions League, we're going to go for the Prem, and whatever happens in those cups? But now we have an entire squad capable of all kinds of things, and this is fantastic. And I have to give us a fighting chance as we're pushing towards all these cups. And I think, you know, it's a good, we're in it, right? I'm going to give us like a 75-80 chance that we're going to do it. So I'm always an optimist. So
hold on. Time out. You're saying we have a 75 to 80% chance at the quadruple?
Yeah.
I love your energy, bro. I love it.
But you know,
I'm not doubting it.
Come on.
I love it. I'm just saying, I love it, man.
Inter's done. Okay, knock on wood, Inter's done.
Hey, man, come on. knock on wood. I'm a superstitious guy,
Right?
No,
Yes.
but what I love is, hang on a second, guys. What I love is it's so in our roles here, because like Jake's the president, he has to have like the vision and like see
Outlook,
it like looking forward. And Dan, you're the treasurer. Like you gotta keep like the
You gotta
reality
keep it
check
100. You know what I
somewhat.
mean? No pun
Yeah, like
intended.
you gotta be like, what? You really saying 75? That's like me coming up to you and being like, hey, I want a $10,000 marketing budget. Like $10,000. Like, no, like they should like so I feel like we're all
make
playing
it
to our roles
5K.
here. Yeah, I think we're kind of all playing to our roles here.
I mean,
No,
Dan's always trying to burn things down, right? Dan is burning it down. He's like trying to burn it down. He's trying to burn down everything. But go ahead, Dan.
Hey, I don't know where this is coming from, Jake, but no, look, I called it out of jest in the first week because I recall like a preview show with Arsenal Fan TV way back when it was Liverpool Arsenal. Remember that first opening day match, and Ty on that show had said something about Arsenal winning the quadruple. And I just thought how ludicrous and how ridiculous was that, and that just popped in my mind because it was our first show and everything. But like, I look back at it now and you're thinking like, even without the Diaz signing and the injuries that we had, Harvey and Thiago and whatnot, it wasn't far-fetched for us to be in all of these competitions. But you need a bit of luck, right? And we definitely had the luck, especially in that final last Sunday. But I feel like it's just our depth and our mentality. I know it's mentality again, blah, blah, but it's like depth, mentality, and injuries that have really hopefully it stays that way and we're not missing some key players. But like, if we can stay fit, I'm kind of with Jake. I'll be honest with you. Like I'm a bit of an optimist on this, and depending on who we get on Thursday, in the FA Cup draw, and presumably Inter, all that. I mean, so like the league itself will play itself out. Like I think that's the most whatever. But like the other two cups, I think we are like pretty close to favorites, if not up there for favorites for those. Yeah.
We're going to break down the cup in a bit more detail, particularly performances, but where we look at luck, like I also think we did have a bit of bad luck on Sunday as well, because I think if Thiago plays, we win. So, like, I feel like some of these things sometimes get not noticed as well, right? Like we have
overlooked
a first, like we have a first 11, cool. Like now we've got depth, cool. The thing is, Thiago's kind of irreplaceable in our team. Like the one person who doesn't necessarily like we all love Fabinho. We've spoken about him many times in the show so far. Yeah, and like
2022.
But like if he wasn't playing, Hendo can play the light version of that role, right? And like there's certain things like like it should never happen again, and we'll talk about him as well in a minute. But like if Virgil was to sit out, I think Kanate and Matip could figure it out and do their thing. But like Thiago's literally irreplaceable in maybe world football. Like there's very few people. So my biggest issue on Sunday was we weren't keeping the ball properly, and that's literally what he's made to do. So
actually on that point, it was really sad actually, because when you think about irreplaceable and who was replaced, Genie leaving and seeing his social media feed and him liking every single one of our boys' posts, like, that videos. Right, like that kind of just like tugs at your heartstrings because you really hoped he would have maybe stayed. But
from that perspective, though, right, like you see that this bodes for just the makeup of the squad and the togetherness, right? So one thing that was really another small thing, it was just a small thing, right? So when they were in the cup, and shaking, well, basically getting ready to hoist the cup, Taki was beside Sadio, right? And I don't know if you saw this.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, no, I saw that.
Basically, he was about to pick up the champagne bottle, and he's like, my Muslim brother, I'm going to put it down, and I'm not going to spray you with this. And everyone was hugging, and everyone was doing, but those kinds of nuances, and they literally have a genuine care for each other, and I think that
respect,
solidarity. Both like that's it. We're gelling on every level, right? Thiago's crying on the side. Alisson's got his arm around him, right? This person's doing this, and so I think that type of mentality is driving us forward, right?
It's that togetherness.
The inner competition is happening as well, but that togetherness is like I don't hate Mo. Sadio's like, I don't hate Mo. I don't hate, Sadio. I don't hate this person. No, we want to do well and we push ourselves. It's a lovely thing after a while, where like you can see it on the pitch, right? So
there was two sort of stories linked to that. So Sadio, again, I don't know if you noticed or if you saw some of the locker room footage, right? The Simicas, like, dancing around and, Pep Linders and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But Sadio, if you notice, and I think there was a post on one of the social media feeds that he didn't partake a lot of the celebrations because he actually went for prayer, which is his choice, and respect to him for doing that. But like here you just won a final, you're excited, all that kind of stuff. And, but he took time for that. The second thing was, and you guys probably seen this obviously on the celebrations, right? When we were in our respective pubs and, the Hendo shuffle goes on and then you look and then you see the trophy get raised and passed on. And when Jurgen passed it to that kid, I'm not sure if you guys follow that story with the kid, Bo, I forgot his last name, and Ali from the crowd and, asked him about his own experience, like, togetherness, one club, this means more, like all of those things that Jurgen preaches that's come down in the culture, like the values of the club, are not just talked about and put on marketing materials. They're literally lived and breathed like throughout the club, even in like the highest of highs, which is winning a title, winning a cup, raising it above and giving it to the kid to enjoy. Like that to me shows like the wholesomeness of this club. And I think we try to extol those virtues on our membership in Toronto as well.
Just to bookend that was beautiful, Dan. And just to bookend that, what also makes me really laugh about Sunday as well is I kind of touched on this last week when I got a bit emotional about other fan bases. Suddenly the Carabao Cup really matters, and it's because we won it. Like, because we won it, like it's not us celebrating it that we would have won. We would have celebrated it anyway. But why it really matters is because everybody wanted us to lose. Like everybody else wanted us to lose. So suddenly now the Carabao Cup matters. It's not because we were going to celebrate this anyway, because we've always celebrated Carabao Cup wins. And we've got the record number of wins, 9 now. We've gone
the league,
past Man City again. Yeah. But why it really was funny was to watch social media having the meltdown was really funny, because it's like what we do. It's like I think we're in all either in and around the same age or like same interests and stuff, but in the late 90s, Mace had this hook on one of his albums that he said, the difference between me and you is when I do what I do, I'm doing what I'm doing, but I'm doing it like I'm doing it for TV. And like that's what Liverpool is. Liverpool is just like show business. Like, we're doing what we're doing.
Mace.
And we're doing what we're doing. And like for some reason, like everybody like has an opinion on it, whether you want to be in on it, whether you want to be anti it. It's actually really, really funny. So I just wanted to say, like, as well as the wholesome stuff and like what we do from a club, like Liverpool do it, we try to do it at LFC Toronto, but then there's the other element of it, which is like, whatever we do, like there's just a kid getting a trophy and suddenly it's like all over clickbait, like news, it's really interesting.
And Harvey with the flair, like, I mean, come on, okay, I get it, but like if the FA is talking about that, if the FA is talking about in looking into serious matters like that, like there's way more serious matters than that.
They need something. I just want to add one point. What was it? Jurgen is Jurgen, and he has a level of class. And as a result, Hendo is pushing that class to all the players and making sure that they're doing the right thing when they're supposed to. Case in point, when the Chelsea guys were getting their medals, Millie and Hendo were shaking everyone's hands. People do not do that. Opposing teams do not do that. Win, lose, or draw, they do not do that, right? You got the guard of honor, and this guy runs after 5 seconds. He runs away Silva, right? That's what's happened, right? And that's the hatred. But this is the love of the game. You're just in here. I respect you. I'm going to shake your hand, right? Respect you for coming in second, and here I am. And that bodes well because I want Millie to be one of the coaches at some point in time. I don't know when. I don't know when, but I want him to be one of the coaches. I don't know if it's a fitness coach or
he
like
could be a fitness coach, man.
I do not care what he's in. He has to be in the squad. Give him a little bit of money and give him some type of player coaching role and keep him on there, because I need solid contributors from a character perspective in the club with Hendos and whatever else, right? So
that's what other top clubs are missing, if you know what I mean. Like, those kind of voices, leadership, proper way, training, everything I was going to say, are we going to get into the pens, or is it move on to the next?
No, get into the pens, because get into the pens, and then I'm going to give you 60 seconds each. One of you is going to take Diaz, and the other one's going to take Van Dijk, because we need to give a shout out to their performances. But I think, Dan, go into the pens, because Kelleher needs his flowers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, he's on the wall. He's on the goalkeeping wall, right? So you saw the picture, amazing, all that. But I love that union that we have. But beyond that, the LFC takers. So think about the amount of subs we had in the match. I don't think I lacked confidence with any of the takers that we had. Ibu maybe a bit, but not because of his pen. Even before his pen, I've never seen him. Right? You haven't seen him take pens or anything like that. So you're like, you're a bit unsure. But Kelleher, he was a striker, grew up a striker, right? So I always thought he has, and when he plays in matches, his control, his passing, his distribution has been on point. So he's really, he has that deft touch. But as far as the pens go, Millie was outstanding. Fab's pen, man, that Panenka was Virgil, you saw him say, cheeky chip and all that, that kind of thing. Virgil's pure alpha male, straight up, look up, look down, don't even try me, do not even try me, right?
Mo smiled at him as well. Mo smiled at him because I'm not sure.
I was worried about Harvey. I was worried about Harvey.
I was gonna say Harvey was the one where I thought, man, this is a big stage. We're in the sudden death now. Got 18-year-old. He's a diehard Liverpool fan. Was in Kiev as a supporter. Or no, was it Kiev? It was Kiev, right?
Yeah, Kiev. Wasn't even in the squad, supporter, by the way.
Yeah,
wasn't in the squad before Thiago got injured. Elliot wasn't even in the squad. Yeah,
right. And then now suddenly he's taking a pen in front of half the stadium, 50,000 of your own fans, the pressure, and delivered. And then, but yeah, you also have to give it to Chelsea. What I respect the fact that they have great takers and they were clinical as well. But the old shh to the fans kind of thing. It's just some of them didn't, Thiago Silva and Rudiger, but the others, just they probably felt the pressure and just relief, and then suddenly just turned into vile critics that they are, and put the finger to the mouth. But seeing Kepa come up there, I called it, right, Jake? I said to you, this is blaze over the bar, and boom, that was it. So, but Kelleher was great, and he almost saved a couple. But I don't know. I thought the pens were really, really great for us. Obviously, the result that happened, but yeah.
I wasn't the Kepa's meme. The Kepa's memes on the internet are
man,
absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah,
poor guy.
Isn't it crazy that it was just 2 years ago, 3 years ago that he didn't want to come off for a penalty shootout?
Sorry.
And here he is coming on for a penalty shootout, and this is what happens. And you know what? I didn't feel bad for him at all, because he was doing the tactics, if you're such a big man, if you're such a great penalty taker, don't play the games. Don't stand on the spot. There was 2 or 3 bookings there, by the way, which 2 or 3 bookings, and then that means sending off. Someone else should have even been in the goal because he was doing. That's why Mo smiled, and then Virgil, he was in that half of the goal, and Virgil
he was over. He was over, and he just hammered that.
Smash
beautiful. It was beautiful. But poor Kepa. Does that mean that Mendy sucks at pens?
No,
really?
He doesn't.
He was the winner.
This was this was a tactical blunder, though. I feel from Tuchel, and what you can say, hindsight's 2020. But think about it, right? He was in a lot of our players' heads during the match. He stopped Sadio. He stopped multiple saves. He had a few others, and he's a big man. He won AFCON. He's riding that high. If I was a Liverpool player, but just far away from that, would be scared to face an informed keeper who's played the match, who's ready and jacked up, versus somebody coming in cold. It's like pulling your goalie in hockey, for example, and bringing them in cold.
So many people coming in cold. You do not want to do that. You don't want,
unless you're like a Mariano Rivera or something like that. You're coming in like a closer in baseball or something, and you have just a ridiculous kind of mindset and obviously physical attributes to deliver. It's tough, man. It really is.
But moving to our superstar Colombian player.
Yeah.
Now,
yes.
like I already said in the chat a few days ago that I'm going to have his name on the back of one of my kits. Nevertheless,
you mean the full squad, right? That you're going to get every season.
What is a very interesting perspective is that the competition for places just with Sadio now. Like, I'm not sure if Sadio is going to get revved up, but the left-hand side has been Sadio's for several years, basically, right? It says, like, he's got his name. You have to close your eyes, he's going to be playing if he's not hurt. And so Diaz is this new Energizer bunny, right? He's hustling and he's making moves and he's got a good vision for the ball. And of course, now you're getting this, like, for argument's sake, Trent is pinging balls on that side, and he knows this guy's got the technical quality to bring the ball down, make some moves, do some shimmies, and push past anyone, literally, right? I felt bad for Cesar in the back there, like, and he had to mark this guy, and I was like, this guy's gonna eat you, and Chalaba, like, these guys, they're gonna get eaten. And I'm like, this is his only fifth game, whatever the case was. Like, he's and to be thrust in this limelight after just coming to this space, right? He played very well against us. Now being in here, and fine, he had a few practices to gel. He had a few, he's getting to know and he's, of course, English is another gap as well, right? So he's got to be Scouse English plus Irish English plus this English plus
Scottish.
Scottish. So he's got to bridge those gaps, right? Which is not easy, because I'm sure he's using every kind of language possible to be like whatever moves and whatever. But how lucky are we to get this next generational player, right? Next generation player where that him and Diogo, like, we don't have to really worry about that. The only thing is I'm worried about is the Salah contract, but that's a different piece of conversation. But Diaz is a fantastic player. And I know that Klopp, having this guy now, that the guy that he wanted, will bring this guy to another level, right? He will bring this guy to another level. If he has a full season with us, like a full training camp, they're going to be in the bike riding in the Alps, and they're going to do all that fun stuff. And then he's going to be gelling with the squad and making friends with these players. He's already got that Spanish Latin contingent, right? From the Brazilians onward. So he's got these friends who have that kind of background. So once he gets that and he has that full season, and he's played, second half of the season, we play some tough games. He's going to, and we have the Champions League. So he's going to be feeling that. Next year, this boy is going to be
with a full preseason and whatnot. No, you know what, Azaz, I was going to throw this over to you, actually, both of you guys. Like, I think I saw it about, on again, Twitter or social media, but there was a comparison of Diaz as a player reminding Liverpool fans of, like, a mix of Suarez and I forget whoever else. I think it was maybe Suarez and Torres.
Too, though, a little bit, right?
Yeah,
got a little bit of
like a bit of that. And, like, do you see that as well? Like, that sort of killer Suarez instinct and a bit of, like, just sheer pace and, like, flair, like a Bobby, Suarez Bobby sort of thing, right?
So there's a couple of things on this. I don't see McManaman. I definitely see the Suarez piece. Like, I don't think I think that's kind of undisputable. I feel like McManaman to me was a bit windier. Like, it was like what I love about Diaz in terms of, like, comparison with Suarez is very direct, and it's very, like, powerful running as well, right? Like, he's not a small guy. He's who he most reminds me of is pre-Newcastle Faustino Asprilla, and he is literally the same player to me. But, like, the problem with
Asprilla, what a player.
And they were both Colombian. The problem with Asprilla when he got to England, we all know England Premier League has that English Premier League bias. So everybody remembers Asprilla as, like, the Newcastle guy who basically came in 96 and cost them the league because they were top by about 12 points. And then Kevin Keegan bought him. He wasn't addressing the defense. He bought another attacker. It didn't work out. Asprilla actually scored a great goal against us in the 4-3. And
I remember that.
But he never, like, relived that, because apparently when the books came out and everything, he got to Newcastle and, like, got involved in, like, drinking culture and just had a great time and stuff. But, like, from those 90s Parma teams, like, I see the same thing. Like, it's, like, very, like, firstly, he's rubber. like they're both like they're made of like rubber, because it's like it's not, you know, like you get what I'm saying, like Van Dijk's like steel, and like, you know, like Fabinho and Matip, we talk about Inspector Gadget, they're like these telescopic things, but like sometimes you're like, oh, like you don't want them to clatter because they're slight, you feel like they might break, you know. Like I always remember not new Torres now is like hench, but the original Torres,
tank,
whenever he used to like go into a rattle, I used to be like, oh, like does he have enough muscle, like will it be bone, like kind of thing. I don't know about Diaz, but like now I feel like, even, you know, remember when he fell on his debut and we all were like,
I remember that.
Like, I don't think he can get that injury, touch wood, because I think he's just made out of rubber.
Yeah.
You know, like he's just like rubbery, and like it's really cool to see. Jake hit the nail on the head. Like I feel like we're so lucky and blessed because everybody was coming back at the same time. And now we have this like competition for places, and it feels very healthy. Like it feels like everybody knows that this is now a squad game, and they're on to like potential greatness. I feel like that is really motivating to these players.
Yeah, for 37 mil plus what, 12? 37 plus 12.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Now I was gonna say, just to add to that Diaz thing, like I you know, I don't know why, but I kind of liken him to Bobby in a way, where his flair is kind of funny at times, you know, and again, you know, Bobby's no look kind of thing, but like that, if you watched him, and not just the final, but also I think it was in the prior match, Norwich at home, like the league match, and when he gets on the ball, like he, you know, he actually like, you know, passes it with like a natural no look, and like, you know, uses that flair to sort of like run around or loop around. Like I think what he has is great instincts, right? At the end of the day, he feeds and reads the ball and the positions, right? So even with him and Sadio, like, you know, Jake, you're saying how, you know, Sadio's position is like left, and, you know, it's been, you know, for about 3-4 years now, but like when they intertwine and Sadio's playing up front, that is one of the most dangerous combinations we have, I feel, because at any point, if you're an opposing manager and you see that, you're like, hey, wait, this guy's natural, or not even natural, because, you know, Sadio was an actual right winger, and then but anyway, he's you know, that left side is being his world class kind of side, and he can revert back to that whenever they play, you know, that they're sort of like their balls together. So it's just like an unbelievable attacking option, and then you throw in Diogo and Bobby, who are not even in you know, fit per se right now, and then you look at our depth and you're like, wow, okay, and then you Taki banging goals, you know, for fun
and
now.
Div,
so
and Div in there too. Yeah,
and Div as well. Nice assist there.
Like one thing to add from that perspective, like I think that as we're talking about progression, you know, he's playing with some solid players now, Diaz, right? So I'm not saying that I'm not slighting Porto, because they're a very talented team, and, you know, innately, you know, because of that kind of flair, they've got some flair in that squad. But as he kind of settles in, I believe that as he settles in a bit more into the squad, we're going to see more and more of that flair and that kind of Bobby-esque, because I saw some clips of him juggling with, I can't remember who he was juggling with, and it was almost like he was doing
Harvey, I think, right?
He was almost doing some Thiago-esque kind of like,
you
know how Thiago can close his eyes, and you know, he's doing all kinds of things. But I was like, wow, okay, you know, he's got some fantastic skill. But it's good for us. That's all I care for. It's good for us.
Next year's kit, man. There you go. You're gonna have him right on your back.
Yeah, I'm gonna. At the moment, he's gonna be on one of my kits.
You're leaning towards it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. So the last 2 seasons I've had Mo on my home shirt. I think I'm gonna do it again
Sadio?
Because sure. That's like favorite player thing, but like one of the reasons the Mo thing is because I was like, you know, like the internet meme, I was today years old. Like I was this season old when we had, for the first time in my life, a claim as having the best player in the world. And I'm like, that to me is puts him again onto the kit.
That
like
season,
that
right?
kit. Yeah. So even though I've got the Mo home shirt at the moment, this year I went for Thiago over Diogo on the cream one. So Jota deserves a shirt for sure. And then everyone knows how my cult hero status of Matip. So I put Matip on the yellow one.
Nice. Do you know what I did? So this year I had the home, away, and third. So home, Sadio, Champions League, whatever.
Standard.
By the way, I need your press to get that 6 on again. So shout out to I was over here for this jersey for acumen. So I got Trent in the accrue, right? So that just that'll always be just bringing up, at Old Trafford, that 5-0. It'll always be there for me, which is amazing. And then Fab on my yellow kit. So I just want to pay homage to him. He's been great. Jake, what about you?
I have Fab on the red, Diogo on
Fab on the red, nice.
Diogo on the ecru, and I've got Mo on the yellow, and I've got 2 Beckers. Of course,
oh
Beckers.
My God, this guy.
The 2 Beckers.
You need a
I have to say this though, like I am gutted that Nike won't make a long sleeve keeper shirt for sale. That's all I'm saying. Like the short sleeve one.
So on that, for the World Cup, there are going to be long sleeve available for retail. So that makes me think that there might be for clubs as well. I think they might be bringing them back, because like, why would they just bring them out for the national team when they actually sell more club shirts than they do national shirts? So we'll see.
Well, we know that actually the kits are already created. They've been created for some time. They're just sitting in the warehouse ready to be
footy leaks, footy headlines, or whatever.
Yeah, all of them. So Jake, talk about the 3 events that we had on Sunday from a president perspective. Give us what you think.
We could not have asked for anything better given the COVID restrictions. So Dan and I were in the Sly Fox in Burlington, and again, as we say, shout out to Jackie and crew from the Sly Fox. There's about 120 that were there, which was basically our capacity, maybe a couple more, but that was basically our capacity. And that was such a fantastic event. I brought down Tianu's big ears to
thank you, Tiano, for that. Down really popular.
And then again, that was such a draw. There's such a new following, not a new following, but they're happy that we had a space in that side of Ontario to call their own and to be able to come to. And there's some discounts, there's loyalty membership points. They're doing a lot of things. Carlsberg did step up as well. They provided some T-shirts, they provided some swag.
Really great, thank you, Carlsberg.
And they were so happy because you can see like there was children there getting T-shirts and things. Everyone was really happy. Dan and I were in full voice. We were singing ourselves. Having our voices hoarse in the end, but it was overall such a great experience. Then we moved down to the Elephant Castle. So Elephant Castle, as Azaz, you were there. So you can go ahead and say how the Azaz that was.
Before I go to Elephant and Castle, just give the rest of the team a shout out from Sly Fox. Who else was there? Dan was there.
Jackie, Nicole, Amanda, and then for Dan and myself, it felt kind of nice because for one thing. So when Dan and I have been at Scally's for God knows how long, and we had some originals there. So Shahab, basically Bernard, Ryan, right? So it was almost like we
Patty.
met there years ago, and Pat, and so it was just we had a nice little table, and it felt like we were back at Scally's again at the beginning, and we're just kind of growing the audience, and it felt like we had not lost any time. It was just a really good experience for the service staff, Amanda, Nicole,
Julia was really good.
And Steve, the Celtics
fan,
the
owner.
One of the owners was fantastic, to say the least.
And his daughter Tegan as well for helping at the door. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Sam and I were at Elephant and Castle. Amazing raucous crowd right in the heart of the city, which was so cool. Literally footsteps away from the CN Tower, so you couldn't possibly be more Toronto LFC if we really tried. I guess the only one that's like that close, which is really cool to have like the heartbeat of the city. Have to give a big shout out to both Alex and Roham for being amazing volunteers as well. Roham checked everyone in on his own, like how that even happened.
Roham, respect for
and
that
just
guy,
like
Roham,
Roham, like such a wonderful,
much respect,
human.
Man. He is, and he always brings it. Even at Maddie as well, brings it. Shows up on early.
Good man.
Love that. Just a very warm human as well. Like I have to say, just like I feel like you couldn't ask for a more perfect person to like check people in.
Sure.
crowd was amazing. I'm gonna say something and then I'm gonna cut this snippet out and put it on like maybe our stories and tag him in it. But we met this really cool new person who needs to become a member and become more part of this. So we met a new guy called Kevin, who's a comedian. He needs to come on and do his Scouse accent, his Irish accent. For anyone who follows, for anyone who follows British comedy, Peter Kay is his hero, and like this guy's got a great following on TikTok and Instagram. So shout out to Kevin. I'm excited to have him come down. I'll message him to see if he wants to come on Saturday for the West Ham game, because it's a good time. So he showed up in a Liverpool bathrobe. So he's like walking around Toronto in a red Liverpool bathrobe. And then or like Liver Bird, like straight up, like, you know, just such a great character. And then what was amazing was just like, you know, to see just people connecting and like, you know, holding like arm in arm for the penalties, and just like, so much love, so much excitement, and we're gonna get to do it a couple more times, I'm sure, this season as well. So Elephant and Castle was incredible.
I think there was about what I understand from the last numbers that Dan got, I think there was about just over 300 and change that were there, which is fantastic. And we know that packed, COVID restrictions, that was beautiful. COVID restrictions lifts and that place can hold 500, 600. So look forward to those types of numbers moving forward with some of our events. So just keep that in mind. But,
and lastly, now the Maddie
Sly Fox as well, with capacity limits lifted, will be 240, 250. So think about that from that side of the equation as well.
We had about 120 over there, but over 300 at ENC, and then I think there's another 300 or so, or close to around that, at the Maddie. So about the Maddie experience, you know, Evie and Reagan, they were holding it down with the bunch of volunteers there. So respect to them for getting through that. I saw the clips, the scenes.
No walking room. They had to open up the patio, the heated patio, to put people out there. So, you know, and again, the same thing that you're talking about is as with the hand in hand, like you could see from the clips from Evie's, and we already know that being in that space already, we know how rowdy things are, you know how close people are. People were on top of the tables, like they were just chanting and singing. And of course, you know, shout out to the youngsters like Emre and Vasu and those guys bringing the atmosphere to the Madison, which was fantastic. So, you know, kudos to them to show up and do the right thing and support the club, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. And shout out to the staff as well, by the way, at the Maddie. I think they really stepped up. And Steve and the owner, Steve and the management there. As well.
Ravi the chef.
Sure. Ravi as well. Yeah.
Great experience.
Milan, if he was there too. Yeah.
Before we go on to tonight's game, Jake, Dan, are either of you allowed to just give a tiny preview about what might be coming at the end of March, or is it too early? Have I broken the fourth wall? Like any teasers, or should we just say watch the socials? Something's coming.
We have, you know, do I want to keep it for another week? Do we want to keep that one for another week? We've got some events that are forthcoming. We're just trying to organize the dates. We're almost there. We're going to have some rewind function that's going to be happening. There's going to be some dancing.
What's that, Jake?
Singing. We're going to be basically, you know what? We're just trying to grow our community, and what better than to do that, to watch a game that we've already won. Of course, we pick one of the ones that we want to that we've done well, and that means something to us as members and fans. You know, it could be Barcelona, it could be Dortmund, it could be these momentous games that we're going to show. And we're going to have some, you know, some food there. We're going to have some drinks there. You know, Dan's going to be singing with Benny, you know, so that's going to be fantastic. And we're going to
sing as well.
Of course you will. You will. You love that as well. And so will Mo. And, you know, there'll be some Beatles stuff in there, some Liverpool songs. But, you know, but it's going to be a good night out, you know, just to break the monotony of things, because we're going to have a 2-week gap from games. So we're just going to put that event in, which is fantastic. And so look for our social medias. When you look at this, when you see the social media dynamic, you're going to be like, I want to be there, and I want that on my t-shirt, and I want this to be there. It's a fantastic thing. And Azazu, you are doing a fantastic job.
So I just want to say that again. And I know he doesn't want to hear it because he's such a modest and humble guy, but echo what Jake just said. And you know, folks, you haven't seen this yet, but when you get exposed to this, it's going to blow your mind, because you feel like the head of design at Nike or at LFC or whatever works or is a part of LFC Toronto. And honestly, this guy has so many things on the go right now, but he still you know, takes that time and care and effort to design some amazing designs for our club. And I was blown away when I saw it, because I'm using MS Paint to do things. This guy just, you know, comes out of the way and just, you know, blows us out of the water. So look out for that, folks.
Amazing.
Super creative guy.
Thank you both, and so excited for that to hit our socials maybe this week, or maybe end of this week, or probably early next week if we don't do it by the end of this week. So just looking at the time, what progress we made again today, and you know, hats off to our Japanese dynamite Taki Minamino.
Like the right footer, the top corner, like, don't get me wrong, it was really nice to see that Div and him are getting a little bit of chemistry, right? So they're using this game time, and they're using it, you know, of course, without them we would have won the Carabao. We know that already. And you know, this is the whole premise of we're using the entire squad. We are using the entire squad, right? Today we got Morton and some of those, but Taki today, you know, his movement was great, right? I want him to get some more time, because I think he's an unpolished gem. Again, you know, I think he's, you know, with some more growth, he could be he is a fantastic player for us. But having that hammer, like, he's, you know, over the last couple of years, he's been a bit unlucky in front of the net a little bit here and there, right? He's been a bit, positionally speaking, he's got some good pace, he's got some good trickery, he's got a heart too. He doesn't stop, which is fantastic, right? And today we just showed some of that skill set, and just, I didn't expect that, right? I didn't expect that to go in the top right.
The technique was amazing there. Yeah. No, I agree with you. No, I think you know, Taki's been a bit unlucky because of the options we have, right? You know, on the left and right. And you know, I feel like he plays a bit of like the Shaq role, which was, you know, like for certain opponents, he's really good, but for certain opponents, he's just probably going to be ineffective a bit. So like the Burnleys or someone like that. But you saw with you saw with Southampton last year on loan with certain teams, he was unplayable. Today he was unplayable. There was one period, I think, at the end of the match, and by now I think Sadio had come on, Luis had come on, I think, and he just like burst through with Harvey and down the right side, and he just cut it. Like he was on fire, and I was like, wow, man, Taki, go on, lad, you know, kind of thing. And he's also a guy that you know has that sort of cult like following or vibe a bit in a much lesser degree than Joel Matip or Millie or some of those folks, right? But like he's an unsung hero, especially to this ride, and he's being like the cup Messi, as people are calling him now, right? So like the domestic cup Messi. So let's see. You got to
remember as well. So firstly, he was the top scorer in the Carabao Cup, and we won the Carabao Cup. So like that one is huge. The second one that's really cool about Taki is, you know, if you look at like the great cameo season, so like, you know, like somebody would probably say like, who's the best like substitute of all time in the Premier League, and like someone might say like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for example. Like in the treble, I was reading in the treble season, he got like, I think it was like 18 goals for the season, and like Taki's on 9, and he's like a 7th choice, right? Like when you look at it like that, like I know the squad game has changed in the last 23 years, so it's not apples to apples, but still, like if he's able to hit double figures, he just needs one more goal. If he gets to like 15, which is very possible because his goal per game ratio is insane, like
85 minutes per goal right now. He's averaging 85 minutes. That's under a match. That's like Mo-like levels, or even
it is Mo-like level. And like, let's say we just do look out in the draw tomorrow, we'll probably get Chelsea, and Man City will probably get like Tranmere's reserves.
Scunthorpe United
have been allowed in. But you know, if we get a home match and somehow it's favorable, don't want to sleep on Middlesbrough, because obviously they've done 2 giant killings this year. But if we were to get a favorable draw at Anfield, like I kind of feel like I want Taki to play, because I want him to get like, you know,
give him a run.
Absolutely,
he deserves it. He deserves it.
He does deserve it for sure. Yeah,
he's amazing.
no, he is.
We're gonna wrap up with looking forward, and there's
Hmm.
we play 3 times, even though there's only 2 matches, because we play West Ham on Saturday. On Sunday, there's a
Inter,
massive game down the East Lancs Road.
right?
And then obviously next Tuesday is our return leg for the Champions League. So let's talk about West Ham, because they are a bit of they're an interesting proposition, because
Outfit.
yeah, they're in, like, would you say that's a good way to describe them? They're interesting because everybody wants them to come in the top 4. They're obviously overachieving. At the same time, they are having like a bit of a moment where, like today, for example, their full team lost in the FA Cup 3-1 to West Ham. They beat Wolves on Sunday, which is a massive result, because Wolves are also low-key a brilliant team,
Yeah,
particularly in defence. And then they drew the 2 matches before that. One was against Leicester. I can't remember who the
yeah,
other one was against. They lost against Man United a couple of weeks ago. So, like,
right.
what's your take on Saturday? Like, is it gonna be a hard game? Or
I
like,
think so. I
yeah,
think, you know what? They have the players to make it a hard game. I think in the last little while,
Hmm.
I think I read that Antonio didn't have. I guess he didn't hit the net much, and I think
mhm.
this weekend or this last couple games he did. So you could see he was just kind of like, oh my god, thank God I did this, and I feel much better. But he was kind of goal shy for a little bit. They do have some really good, really good players. Who's going to play for them and kind of step up on that day? They can, but I mean, who will we play in that context? Like, are we going to play
Exactly.
are we going to play our starting lineup? Because if we play our starting lineup, even with the 4 transitions of Diaz's and Diogo's and whoever else plays and whoever's fit, I have no problem. We will run through them, and I don't have a problem with that. However, it's Moyes, right? Sometimes he's got some kind of luck of the whatever you want to call it, and he does put out a squad, and it does kind of give us fits, right? Because I don't think they're going to be countering. Right, I think they're going to be doing a lot of countering. They'll put the Antonio up front. I don't know if it'll be Lanzini or who else will be with him, but I think they always give us a bit of fits right here and there, and they could do it. But of course, I have faith in our squad, so I think it's going to be a 2-0 on Saturday.
Dan?
Yeah, I agree with Jake. I think it's going to be basically a Norwich on steroids. Honestly, it's going to be like they're going to have their moments, but at the same time, we're playing at home. The reverse fixture we lost, and that is a big thing in terms of psyche.
Oh,
We've been on
yes.
a run, and we're going to remember that. Klopp is going to somehow ingrain that in like the pregame or whatever. Is that this is the team that broke our unbeaten run, and yeah, we didn't play that well in that match, but so for them to come and do the double over us this season would be something. But I just don't see it because we're going to have our hopefully full 11, maybe even Thiago. I'm not sure if no, sorry, Thiago is not going to make it. But even with like a Hendo, Fab, and Naby or someone else, you have Trent and Robbo, you have VVD, and so you have like world class quality around, and Mo's going to be starting for sure. I can't see him missing out. After today, rested today. So I think we're really going to go at them at Anfield, and I can't see us not coming away. But however, they have options. Bowen, they have like you said, Antonio Yarmolenko right off the bench, or is he a different? Sorry, I don't know if it's Yarmolenko's on a different squad now. I'm not sure, but
No,
I thought
he's not.
Yarmolenko was on there.
No,
Yeah,
he's still
he
at
was
West
on.
Ham.
Yeah, he's still West Ham, right? As an option. I mean, it's a great option, but like,
yeah,
they have enough. Their D has suffered slightly, over the last little while, but I just still fancy us. It's Liverpool at Anfield, and we've just been on an amazing run. So let's let it continue.
The way I look at it is, I see most of the time there's a lot of correlation between like the form guide and the league table. So one team that's not proving that to be the case is Newcastle. So we're top of the form table, and Newcastle are actually second. So if you were playing Newcastle by the league table, you'd be like, yeah, this is an easy team. But if you were playing Newcastle by the form table, you'd be like, like they have momentum. And then obviously we're going to talk about the derby next, and they're right next to each other. So they're 3 and 4 in the form table, but West Ham are like 9 or 10 when I remember looking. So I feel like right this minute, I think we're kind of playing a mid-table team. I think when we played them, when they beat us, we were playing a top 4
They
team.
were
Like they were a top
there,
4 team. Yeah, they were playing
flying
like a top 4 team, and they were in the top 4. At the moment, I feel like West Ham are capable of a top 4 kind of performance, but like they're playing like a mid-table team, and we're playing like a championship winning team, like a title winning team, not championship. Yeah. Sorry.
Do you know what? No, I totally understand your point. Like you know what's really going to dictate this match, I feel, is and especially with West Ham and how we played them in the past, is if we're on it and just like at them like almost like in a blitz or blitzkrieg sort of mentality where you come out first 20 minutes and just run them off the park, and if we score doing that one or two, so, quick, I think we're just not going to be losing. Now they may get a consolation goal, or they may be hard to break down, but the first goal is going to matter a lot, because if we can get them to play out a little bit more, totally. that's going to create that space, and that's classic for any of those teams. I mean, I think Pep Guardiola actually mentioned this the other day, which is like he rhymed off like I think 3 or 4 or 5 teams that play football, right? Rather than just sit back and counter. And it was funny who he said. He said Wolves, he said us, he said I think who else was it? Brighton, and a few of those teams. And like West Ham is not a team that actually does that. We're like they're not going to be playing us because they respect us, so they're going to have their holding guys and body up against VVD or Joel or whatever. So they're going to target probably Joel right at the end of the day, because nobody wants to come near VVD right now, or at least Antonio doesn't, or maybe he does. Who knows? But that's the one-way story. Knock on wood. But I feel like that first goal is going to matter, and the thing though now, it's like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but we have like, even if we go down in a match, right? Like what happened in Norwich like a few weeks or whatever, it was like you just have this like inner confidence that like you have Diaz, like just sheer quality. You have Mane, I mean you have Mo, you have just get them the ball. We're gonna have some chances. Chances are we take those chances, and it's like it's this newfound confidence, I feel, with the depth, with the quality, with the run we're on, with the form, the players coming back, the injuries are not, I really feel we're in some of the best vein of form that I've ever seen this club in, and depth. And so like, yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. The only thing that might take away from it is the fact that we have Inter in the back of our minds, and there may be a bit of rotation there where, it may not be the full cohesiveness of our first 11. But if I was Klopp, I would go first 11 West Ham, and then I would rotate a little bit with Inter a little bit, because we have the crowd. We have a 2-0 lead there already, right? So we don't necessarily need to go like balls out, first 11 as well, So anyway, that's my thoughts.
Can I just say, Inter Milan have not scored a goal since we beat them. Yeah, so they're playing knock on wood. They're playing the bottom team on Friday, so they'll probably correct that. But in the 3 games since they've played us, they haven't scored a goal. So we've broken Barcelona before. We might have broken Inter Milan as well. Jake, what about the Manchester derby? So I was just talking about form. Their form is actually a lot closer. They're, I believe, 3 and 4 or 4 and 5. Like they're right next to each other in the form table. Man United have not got a bad recent record against City as well. So what do you think? Like, is there any chance that they can show up at the end?
Who will show up? They've had such a rocky season, right? They've had such a rocky season, and they're in the shadow of the Blues at the moment. So who will show up? I don't even know who's got who's the starting 11. Is it still Fred and McTominay in the middle? Or is it So I think that can cause a problem for them, right? Innately, I know that I can't the matchup between the Blues and the Rodris and whatever else and that mid and the Manchester United mid, I see problems for them, right? I still don't rate Maguire very highly from that perspective in the defense. They do have some attacking options that are pretty good, right? So I don't know, DeSancho play. I don't know who has been playing for them. Really, I don't watch their games much, but nevertheless, like, who is their starting thing? Will Rashford play? Are they still on form? Like, from that perspective, I don't know who their squad. They're capable, right? Will they get revved up because it's their derby, right? As normal derbies play out. I'm not 100% sure if they will show up. Hopefully, they do have the heart, and they do that, and they do us some service, right? And I don't really state that too often, but nevertheless, we would hopefully that they will do that and just show some pride in themselves that they're playing this team that's in their shadow, and give them a bit of a jolt. But I'm actually not sure who's going to show up. Maybe De Gea will have one of his worldly games. He's got it in him, right? Like, from that standpoint, but I'm not sure. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, at the Etihad, right? So that's another thing. I think they've had some great away results and form again over the past few years. Now, obviously, this season it's not been as fruitful, but looking at their lineup, I don't know. I mean, see some of their sort of offensive players back, like Pogba and Fernandez and whatnot. But you're right, like Jake. I think if it's a holding midfield, sort of stifle them through Fred McTominay, like. I don't know. I can't see them getting a ton out of actually winning the match. Maybe maybe a draw or whatnot. But no, I'm just hoping for Ronaldo to have his hat trick and
have his moment.
City drop those 3 points. Yeah, drop those 3 points. Maybe Ronaldo's showing City that they should have signed him, and that whole whatever that is. But at the end of the day, yeah, we just Everton couldn't, or the Blue Shite couldn't really do it or do us a favor, even though the PMGOL whatever apologized after that blatant handball by Rodri. But anyway, hopefully we get a better result. But the thing is, look at City; they are class. We have to give them their flowers as well. They're probably with us as like the top two sides in the world. I don't mind stating that. But the thing is, when they don't have clinicalness, or against a team that's can play the low block and play it well and defend well, which Harry Maguire, and you never know what you're gonna get there. Luke Shaw, yeah, it's hopeful, it's wishful, but hopefully we can get them to drop some points. What do you think, Manchester lad, right here?
There's two results. There's two results last week that I think will help us big time. The first one is Arsenal got like a last minute winner against Wolves, I believe it was, and that was a huge result because it opened up the top four race. That's right. And then Man U went and pooped the bed at home against Watford, which was 0-0. So now when you look at the table, if Arsenal even relatively perform in their games in hand, I think they've got 3 games in hand and one of them's against us. So let's not count that one. But even if they perform in the other 2 games, they're pretty, they can get a lead on Man United for the top 4. So now every game for Man United, they've got to start picking up and piling up those points. I think that's a massive, massive incentive for those players, because one, they want to be playing in the Champions League, but the second thing is a lot of their bonuses will be tied to qualifying. So now it's hitting them in the pocket, right? So when we talk about player motivation and this and that, I get it. There's definitely times when certain teams and certain players don't look like they're interested, but if they can't get up for this one, there's a lot of people have been saying to me over the season, mixed things, oh, Man United, they'll still come in the top 4. And then there's other times where it's you get the people being like, Man, you aren't a top 4 club. But there they are, they're kind of hanging on. But right now, they need to step up for themselves. And if they want to do us a favor at the same time, great. The other flip side to that, I will say, is I agree with you, Dan. It's undisputed at this point that Man City are at least the best, at least the second best club in the world. Maybe they're the best team in the world. We can debate that all day because they're technically sitting above us. However, they have not looked good in the form last guide, couple of weeks.
I was just going to say,
and they have not looked good for a while. They didn't deserve to be Arsenal. They should have dropped points against Arsenal. I agree. There's multiple matches over 6 to 8 weeks where Man City have not looked great. So this thing that happened on Saturday, everybody's talking about the ridiculous decision, which was a ridiculous decision. But even Man City's goal, like, what the hell was that? Like,
that was a howler
defending, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not convinced Man United are going to do us a favor, but like, I'm not convinced that they can't do us.
But you know what, Azaz? But you know what, Azaz is that like the issue with that is, and it's very much like us as well. It's where we somehow got through, get those results, blah blah blah, and then the switch turns, and then you're like lights out. And that's what I fear with City is that they go on a like they just somehow manage to get those 3 points, and then they just turn it on like we did it that 2 or 3 seasons ago when it was us and them just winning everything, but 14, 15 straight matches or whatever, or 11 straight matches. That's what I fear with them, and that's why that fixture with us and them is going to be even imperative. Hopefully by then we're all everything's up in the mix. But let's see.
And last but not least, by this time next week we'll have played the return match against Inter. Don't expect any banana slips, hey?
No, I think, again, as Dan said, a bit of rotation, not too much, just a bit of rotation, because they're still a skillful squad no matter what, right? You can't downplay that, and we don't want a Barcelona against us, basically, implosion. So we got to keep it, have a bit of the spine, right? Fab and so on and so forth. Get a bit of steel and some trickery up front, and I think we should be fine.
It's funny, this one for me, the reverse fixture, I know everyone's saying it's at Anfield, we're up 2. It's one of the most dangerous leads in world football is to be 2-0 up and playing at home when you're expected to do something. So I honestly, I know this sounds like blasphemous right now because I mentioned the quadruple and the league and everything, but like if it meant playing a stronger side against Inter versus West Ham, I know this is going to sound ridiculous. I would actually prefer Inter, because of the fact that we need that first goal. If we get one goal, especially the first goal against Inter, honestly, it's lights out. At that point, it's lights out. There's no way goals. It's done. But if we don't, and they have credible options up front, I know everyone says, I think, as you mentioned, the Lautaro, VVD whole thing, right? I mean, look, we've been leaky here and there, spotty once in a while. And that's where I'm kind of like, if they get some confidence, you never know, things can change on a dime. So I West Ham's West Ham, but I feel like Inter is the priority right now, and I'm hoping that we take that very seriously. And Jurgen's Jurgen, so I always trust Jurgen.
So we're going through, right?
Of course.
Oh yeah. Come on, man. What is this?
Not a doubt.
Come on, guys.
Come on now.
Amazing.
Let's get real here.
Okay, well, with that, we'll wrap this up. The regular stuff, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. If you came out to the bars on Sunday, please join us as a member. Come back again. Was someone going to say something?
I was just going to say, sorry, just one quick thing. Just shout out to all the new members of LFC Toronto. I know in our various pubs, we saw a lot of new members come on and, just feel what we've felt for a long time. So I just want to say welcome. And I know we have our Prez here who welcomes everybody through, hugs, kisses, kissing babies, this, that, and the other. But I just want to say virtually too, welcome to the club, and hopefully we'll see more of your friends and family and kids join our wonderful community. So thank you for joining.
Come out to West Ham. Come out to West Ham.
And subscribe to the channel. We're gone. Peace.
Okay.
Bye.
Right. Cheers.